The Nobel Prizes are awarded to those who have conferred the greatest benefit to humankind, according to Alfred Nobel, its creator. But did you know Alfred Nobel first had nothing to do with the betterment of the world? Alfred Nobel was the man who created dynamite. This quickly became a tool for war. So much was the Nobel name associated with destruction that he was famously dubbed the Merchant of Death. So how did the Swedish chemist, inventor, engineer, and businessman turn into being remembered for the most prestigious prize for peace and bettering the world? Today we're taking a journey through the fascinating life of Alfred Nobel, through the creation of dynamite, earning the nickname Merchant of Death, his personal turmoil, and the origin of the Nobel Prize. This is the untold story of the Nobel Prize. Alfred Nobel, born in 1833 in Stockholm, Sweden, hailed from a lineage of inventors and engineers. His father, Emanuel Nobel, was an engineer in the construction industry who used explosives. Despite facing bankruptcy in 1833, Emanuel moved to Russia and found success in the arms business due to tensions with England. Alfred, along with his 3 surviving brothers, joined his father in Russia at the age of 9. Privately educated in St. Petersburg, Alfred developed a keen interest in science, humanities, and English literature. His travels for education took him to Sweden, France, Germany, and the United States, where he spent time with inventor John Ericsson. In Paris, Nobel encountered chemist Ascanio Sobrero, who invented nitroglycerin, a volatile explosive. Returning to Russia in 1852, Alfred joined the family business during the Crimean War. The demand for naval mines was high, and Alfred began experimenting with nitroglycerin. Despite its instability, he secured patents for blasting oil and a blasting cap, making the beginning of his successful career. In 1863, as the fighting in Russia concluded, Emanuel went bankrupt again, prompting the family to return to Stockholm. Alfred's brothers remained in Russia, founding the Russian oil industry and accumulating immense wealth. In Stockholm, the family continued nitroglycerin development. Tragedy struck in 1864 when Alfred's brother Emil died in an explosion. The business faced challenges, including expulsion from Stockholm and Emanuel's stroke. At 31, Alfred assumed control of the family business, setting the stage for his future endeavors. Nobel cherished close ties with his family, fostering deep connections with his parents and brothers. Despite the financial challenges that led to his family's move to Russia in 1833, Alfred's relationship with his parents remained strong. His father, Emanuel Nobel, played a pivotal role in shaping Alfred's early exposure to engineering and explosives, laying the foundation for his future inventions. A special bond existed between Alfred and his mother, adding a personal touch to his character. This affection is evident in his tradition of visiting her on her birthday, showcasing a commitment to family amidst the challenges they faced. The business collaboration with his brothers, particularly Robert and Ludwig, was not only professional but also fruitful. Their partnership thrived in Russia, where they ventured into the arms business and later founded the Russian oil industry. Despite the family's financial setbacks and geographical distance, the business relationship remained productive and marked by success. Alfred's enduring family connections provided a source of strength and support, shaping his character and influencing his decisions in his personal and professional life. Undeterred by these challenges, and despite the grief and loss of his father, Alfred Nobel pressed forward in the development of blasting oil, recognizing its growing demand. The production was initially carried out on a barge in a nearby lake and eventually expanded with the establishment of a factory on a remote lakeshore. This marked the beginning of Nobel's venture into international production, with factories in Germany and Scotland. However, archaic politics and bureaucracy in England posed insurmountable obstacles, leading Nobel to exclude it from his manufacturing location. Safety concerns loomed large in the production process. The delivery of blasting oil by intoxicated farm boys and the risk of workers falling asleep prompted unconventional measures, such as using one-legged stools to keep vigilant. Manufacturing took place in wooden sheds separated by earthen walls, limiting the potential casualties in case of accidents. Despite periodic setbacks and accidents, the factory continued to expand and adapt. In the quest for a safer alternative to nitroglycerin, Nobel encountered numerous challenges. Various experiments proved unsuccessful, until a breakthrough in 1866 at the Krumel factory in Germany. Following a serious accident, Nobel discovered that mixing nitroglycerin with a local porous sand variety known as kieselguhr resulted in a putty-like substance resistant to accidental detonation. This innovation, patented in 1867, was named dynamite. The introduction of dynamite coincided with advancements in diamond bits and pneumatic drills, leading to immediate success in the construction industry. Nobel's perseverance and ingenuity not only addressed safety concerns, but also revolutionized the field of explosives, establishing dynamite as a commercially viable and indispensable tool in construction. Despite the intended use being industrial, Alfred Nobel's most renowned invention found substantial military applications during various historical conflicts. Its widespread adoption in warfare stemmed from its effectiveness in excavation, tunneling, and the construction and destruction of defensive structures. Although Nobel didn't directly sell dynamite for military purposes, its use in warfare became evident, influencing several nations in their military strategies. During the Crimean War, the American Civil War, and the Franco-Prussian War, dynamite was employed for military engineering purposes, highlighting the increasing reliance on technological innovations such as dynamite in warfare. These instances illustrate the unintended consequences of Nobel's invention, as dynamite became a crucial element in military strategies and infrastructure development during various conflicts in the 19th century. Nonetheless, Nobel continued making dynamite and his other inventions, and the world kept on buying. Destructive power of dynamite in warfare troubled Nobel, but it didn't stop him from continuing to produce and sell it to whoever was buying it. Alfred Nobel was worth more than 31 million Swedish kronas at the time of his death. In today's currency, this would be approximately 1.1 billion Swedish krona, or 185 million US dollars. No small part of the riches he obtained was made from how widely used dynamite was in the field of warfare. This business in the world of death and destruction didn't go unnoticed. The public opinion of Nobel became quite negative, with people seeing him as someone who was benefiting from war and the loss of life that comes with it. As a somewhat reluctant arms dealer, Nobel would not have seen it this way, but for the time being, he paid little attention to the will of the people and continued his work. He did, however, find it hard to face what his invention was being used for. In Nobel's private letters and correspondences, there are instances of him expressing internal conflicts. He questioned the morality of his invention and its impact on humanity. He sought advice from those he cared about on how to balance the positive contributions of dynamite with its destructive potential. One of those friends throughout Alfred's later life was Countess Bertha Kinsky, later known as Bertha von Suttner. Von Suttner worked as Nobel's secretary and supervisor of his household for a brief period in 1876 when she met her future husband, the youngest son of the Suttner family. Despite their short professional collaboration, a close bond formed between Nobel and Bertha von Suttner. They remained in contact through letters and shared a commitment to the promotion of peace. In fact, a letter dated January 7, 1893, Nobel outlined to her his idea of establishing a prize for those who made important contributions to peace. Bertha von Suttner herself was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1905, 9 years after Nobel's death. The Countess was a strong advocate for peace and influenced Nobel's pacifist tendencies after they met in 1876. From his letter to her a year before his death, we can see that the idea of an award for contributions towards peace was something he was proud to share with his friend. But what changed Alfred Nobel's views so drastically? Nobel reached a profound turning point in his life, a moment characterized by a complex interplay of emotions, ethical reflections, and a profound desire to contribute positively to humanity. This pivotal juncture leading to the establishment of the Nobel Prizes, especially the Nobel Peace Prize, unfolded against the backdrop of guilt, moral reckoning, and intense desire for redemption. Haunted by the unintended consequences of dynamite, Nobel grappled with the guilt that arose from the destructive use of his inventions in warfare. The tragic loss of his brother Emil in a factory accident further intensified his moral reflections, acting as a poignant catalyst for change. The desire for redemption, fueled by personal grief and a growing awareness of the devastating impact of his creations, became a driving force within Nobel's conscience. Engaging in deep and introspective correspondence with trusted friends and advisors, Nobel sought counsel on the ethical implications of his inventions. These conversations played a crucial role in shaping his decision to redirect his wealth towards a more positive and impactful legacy. Within intellectual circles and amidst influential peers, discussions on ethics, science, and humanity's future echoed. Nobel's evolving views on the responsible use of wealth were likely influenced by the broader discourse on global events, humanitarian causes, and the burgeoning efforts for peace. Then, one moment sparked a more drastic shift in his mindset. The year was 1888, several years before Nobel's actual death in 1896. In a bizarre twist of fate, a French newspaper prematurely published an obituary for Alfred Nobel instead of his deceased brother Ludwig. The error originated from a misunderstanding between a journalist and Alfred Nobel's brother Ludwig. Alfred's brother Ludwig had passed away, and the journalist, eager for information, mistakenly assumed it was Alfred who had died. This mix-up resulted in the publication of a scathing obituary that condemned Nobel for amassing wealth through the invention of dynamite, dubbing him the Merchant of Death. The obituary, published in the French newspaper Le Figaro, criticized Nobel's inventions for their destructive potential and lamented the impact of his wealth on the world. It painted a grim picture of Nobel's legacy, reflecting the prevailing sentiment of the time regarding the perceived negative consequences of his inventions. Upon discovering the obituary, Nobel was shocked and deeply affected. The incident forced him to confront the public perception of his life's work and the potential negative impact of his inventions on humanity. Nobel, who was very much alive, found himself in the unique position of having to shape his legacy while still in the prime of his life. The mistaken obituary that labeled Nobel the Merchant of Death served as a poignant wake-up call. Concerns about his legacy and the desire to be remembered for positive contributions rather than destructive inventions became paramount. This catalyzed Nobel's resolute decision to strategically use his wealth for the betterment of humanity. In the confluence of these motivations, Nobel's vision crystallized into a concrete plan: the establishment of the Nobel Prizes. The Nobel Peace Prize in particular emerged as a testament to his belief in the transformative power of peace and progress. This turning point in Nobel's life represented not only a personal redemption, but a profound shift in his legacy, from the creator of destructive forces to a dedicated benefactor of peace and human advancement. In 1895, Alfred Nobel, recognizing the potential for his wealth to contribute positively to humanity, drafted his will outlining the establishment of the Nobel Prizes. Designating the majority of his fortune for this purpose, Nobel created a charitable endowment to fund awards in physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature, and peace. Of particular significance was the inclusion of the Nobel Peace Prize, dedicated to recognizing outstanding contributions to the promotion of peace. The Nobel Foundation was subsequently established to manage the financial aspects, ensuring the sustained recognition of excellence in various fields. In 1901, the inaugural Nobel Prizes were awarded per Nobel's will, and the Nobel committees were entrusted with selecting laureates based on specific criteria for each category. Over time, the prizes evolved to include additional categories such as economic sciences, allowing for a more comprehensive recognition of outstanding contributions. Alfred Nobel's visionary creation of the Nobel Prize, coupled with the establishment of a charitable fund and meticulous planning in his will, has left an enduring legacy that continues to celebrate and support advancements in science, literature, and peace. Alfred Nobel's establishment of the Nobel Prize was motivated by a complex interplay of factors: guilt over the unintended consequences of his inventions, a genuine desire to positively impact the world, and a conscious effort to reshape his legacy all played a role. The mistaken Merchant of Death obituary served as a pivotal moment, propelling Nobel to strategically use his wealth for humanity's betterment. The Nobel Prizes thus represent a multifaceted legacy, reflecting Nobel's internal conflicts and a deliberate endeavor to be remembered as a benefactor of lasting and positive change. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you did, you're going to love the video on your screen now. Thank you for watching Untold Gold.